You clicked buy today. Maybe it was one share, maybe 10, maybe a few hundred. You pressed a button, saw a confirmation, and moved on with your day. And somewhere else, in that same instant, someone you'll never meet pressed sell. Two strangers, two decisions. An exchange that happened before either of them could perceive it. Connected by a system neither of them has ever seen, running at speeds neither of them can feel. We never question what happens between the button and the confirmation. But I've started thinking about it differently. Because the more I look at it, the less it makes sense. What actually just happened to your order? Most people picture something simple, a buyer somewhere, a seller somewhere, a price in the middle. They find each other. Trade done. That picture feels obvious. It's also wrong in almost every important detail. I didn't fully understand how wrong until I started pulling it apart. Let's slow it down. Because the moment you do, something starts to feel very different. When you press buy, your order doesn't go to the stock market. Not directly. It goes to your broker first. And your broker faces a decision most investors never think about. They can route your order to a public exchange. The New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, CBO, and a dozen others. Or they can send it somewhere else entirely. Because the stock market isn't one place. It's dozens of competing venues running simultaneously. Public exchanges, dark pools operating entirely outside public view, alternative trading systems, broker-dealer networks that match orders internally before those orders ever touch a public exchange. Right now, there are 16 registered U.S. stock exchanges operating in parallel. The moment you press buy, a routing engine, running automatically, no human involved, evaluates every available venue and routes your order to the best available price in milliseconds. But the competition between those venues happens in microseconds. Not seconds, not even milliseconds, microseconds. A single blink takes roughly 300,000 microseconds. A trade can be matched and confirmed in under 10. When I first understood this, I actually stopped for a second. I'd assumed fast meant something a person could feel. A second, maybe two. The matching engines inside these exchanges operate at speeds the human nervous system cannot register. By the time the signal leaves your screen, the machine has already decided. When your order reaches an exchange, it enters an order book, a continuously updating record of every buy offer and every sell offer currently waiting, every price, every quantity, every timestamp measured to the microsecond. Your buy order at 150,000 sits on one side. A sell order at 150,000 sits on the other. The matching engine scans constantly and connects them, no human involved. No one at NASDAQ is watching your trade. No phone call, no approval from any person. It's an algorithm running on dedicated hardware, co-located inside the exchange's own data center. Firms that depend on this speed pay tens of millions of dollars to place their own servers physically as close as possible to the matching engine, because the speed of light through fiber optic cable is a real physical constraint, and closing that distance by meters gives a measurable, exploitable advantage. The cables run through purpose-built tunnels. Some firms have spent years lobbying for physical space closer to exchange servers. The distance is measured in feet, but the system doesn't stop at matching. Your order for 100 shares at $150 might get by 3 different sellers. 40 from one account, 35 from another, 25 from a third, from different brokers, registered on different exchanges. The matching engine doesn't just connect. It splits, routes across multiple venues, and reassembles the pieces. All of this resolves before the confirmation reaches your screen. What's most surprising about this system isn't the speed, it's the volume. The U.S. stock market processes somewhere between 8 and 12 billion individual share transactions on a normal trading day. During peak hours, the opening minutes after 9:30 a.m., thousands of individual matches happen every second across dozens of venues, with no single entity coordinating all of them. And each trade doesn't just get matched. It gets verified, recorded, routed to a clearinghouse, confirmed by both parties' brokers, cross-referenced to ensure the shares exist and the money is there, checked for fraud flags, logged for regulatory record keeping. I had to reread that list a few times. I assumed the complexity stopped at the exchange. The exchange is just the entry point. Behind it, there's a system that reconciles everything, that ensures every matched trade actually settles, that catches errors, that maintains the ledger across all of it. That institution is one most people have never heard of. The DTCC, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. The first time I read about it, I assumed it was built for the digital age. It wasn't. The DTCC's predecessor was established in 1973, before personal computers were standard in offices, before the internet, before anyone imagined someone a share in milliseconds on a phone. Here's the detail that stopped me. In the early 1970s, Wall Street was literally drowning in paper. Trading volume had grown so fast that paperwork couldn't keep pace. Markets were closing on Wednesdays just to let humans catch up with the settlement backlog. Physical stock certificates moved between buildings by hand. Sometimes they got lost. The DTCC was built to solve that crisis, and it still sits at the center of every stock trade in the United States today. Every confirmation you've ever received touches systems designed when digital meant rooms full of mainframes and documents moved by hand. This should not work. And yet it does, every second of every trading day. There's a paradox at the center of all of it. There is no central brain managing the market. No single computer holds a complete real-time view of every order across every venue. No person, not a regulator, not an exchange executive, not anyone in government sees the full picture at once. The system is too large, too distributed, too fast. There isn't even a shared definition of now. Different exchanges run on their own clocks, and those tiny differences in timing matter. No master clock synchronizes all of them. No master database holds the complete picture. Each system trusts the others, without anyone able to verify all the trust at once, and yet it works. Thousands of independent systems, exchanges, clearinghouses, brokers, settlement networks, regulatory monitors, each performing their piece, each trusting the surrounding pieces. No central controller, no override switch. If nobody fully controls it, who's responsible when it breaks? That's where I got stuck. The biggest systemic risk in modern finance isn't a rogue trader. It's the confidence that billions of people place in a system that no single human being fully understands. The complexity that makes it fast is the same complexity that makes failure almost impossible to predict. Would you trust a bridge if no engineer ever saw the complete blueprints? Drop yes or no in the comments, because that's the situation every time the market opens. So once you click buy, your order leaves your screen, hits a routing engine evaluating 16 venues in parallel, lands in an order book on a matching engine faster than nerve impulses, gets split across multiple sellers at different exchanges, passes through a clearinghouse built on infrastructure from 1973, gets verified, settled, recorded, returns to your screen as a confirmation. All of that in under 1 second. None of this was designed as a single system. It evolved. Paper settlements first, physical certificates, 5-day delays, then electronic systems, compressing that to hours, then algorithmic matching, bringing it to seconds, then high-frequency trading, which forced everything into microseconds and forced every surrounding layer to accelerate alongside it or collapse. Each generation of engineers solved one problem without knowing what the final shape of all of it would become. We're living inside the result of that process. It works so well, we forget it's running. No warning, no visible friction, no sense of machinery underneath. Just a button and a confirmation. So the next time you press buy, you're not just making a purchase. You're the last visible human touchpoint in a chain that immediately becomes invisible. A distributed machine spread across dozens of data centers, running at speeds the human body cannot feel, built on infrastructure 50 years old, and carrying trillion-dollar loads every single trading day. What stays with me is this. It works so well that we forget it exists. But once you've seen what's underneath it, pressing that button feels different. Less like a simple transaction. More like sending a signal into something vast and invisible that's been running the whole time, with or without you.